Have you ever wanted a high grade that could dual-wield beam rifles? Well then look no further than the high-grade Mighty Strike Freedom from Gundam Seed Freedom, a movie I have not watched, from a series that I have not finished, from a toy line that is really cool, but also, why is like half of it locked behind P Bandai? I'm talking about the rest of the Black Knight Squadron. I do have them, I just haven't built them yet. Anyway, this kit is beautiful. I love the color scheme, and even though I'm not a fan of the original Strike Freedom, this guy really tickles my fancy. And I just hope you guys enjoy this little review of this posable little big old samurai knight dude who kicks butt. What a cool looking figure. So getting on into the figure here, and this guy looks great. I will attach the wings later, but for now, let's get into articulation, and this guy can pose up a storm. One of the things I love about model kits is just how flexible they are. You can go up that far, a little over a T-pose, down all the way around on a ball joint, and then hinge forward pretty far. It can go backwards a little bit, but mainly you're just going to keep it at that kind of baseline. Double jointed elbows for a really good bend. And also, this is on its own swivel. Then, this part is on a ball joint, even though it's really only, like, if you have it in, it's only going to really move up and down, but you can move it, side to side. And then the hand is also on a ball joint. Ain't that great? So far, so good. Why did I avoid the head? You already know. Yeah, so here's the thing about this guy's neck. It's a double peg connection, kind of just clips in there. It likes to come off if you move the head at all. So you can just always push it back in to, move it back to normal. So, but anytime you move the head back, it's gonna pop out. So anyway, that's how much the neck moves forward and backwards, up and down. And also swivel, but it's gonna pop up, which is super annoying, but not the worst thing in the world. It could have been anywhere else, and that would have been way worse. Also, same on the other arm as this arm. And he can crunch forward that far. Pretty good. Oh my gosh, my camera. Bend backwards this far, and then side to side. And obviously, spin around. Moving down to the legs, and we can go up that far, except not really, because it has drop down hips. Very similar to an action figure's drop down hips. Basically, there's just a bar, you put those two in there, and that allows you to kick up even further than normal. It also allows him to do a little funky leg thing. Anyway, bringing his leg back up, same thing on the other leg. This can also swivel around that far and that far. Also, in the drop down allows you to basically fully 360 those legs. And of course, let's see those knees. Those knees can go pretty darn far. It's not like amazing, but it's pretty good, especially with how chunky his calves are. And then obviously his foot is on a ball joint, but because of this thing, it can't do a full 360. Toe bend down that much, and then beautiful ankle pivot. That is pretty almost to not really 90, but close enough for a mech. Also, the hip side skirts are on ball joint, so those can pretty much do anything a ball joint can. Turning him around, it's a machine. Yeah, the little back thrusters move a little bit, just kind of dinkily. Moving on to the Proud Defender, and yeah, these are the wings, but it's also technically a ship, the Proud Defender. On its own, I don't know what to say. I haven't watched the movie, so maybe if I watched the movie, I would find it cooler, I guess. Articulation-wise, I mean, yeah, each of these are on essentially a 360. This is not on a 360. This can just kind of go up and down like that. But then the gold part up here is actually on a little bit of a ratchet joint. I've never seen a ratchet joint in a model kit. It's actually a little bit annoying, but I do like how it clips in, I guess. Yeah, ratchet joint on a model kit. That's unique. These go full 360, full 360, and then you can attach the the samurai sword. You can attach the katana to the wings, and now you have definitely not a backpack. And this totally a ship and definitely not a backpack can slot onto the mighty Strike Freedoms. Wow, I failed. You could just... Hold on. It's annoying. Are you kidding me? There we go. You could just slot it onto the back there. Very unique connection. Very strong once it's actually in. Unlike a lot of the other high grades from Seed, it's not going to fall off if you're holding him on his back. So that is great news. Moving on to my least favorite part of a Gundam, especially a Seed Gundam, the beam sabers. Now usually, they're not my least favorite part. I mean, these have some real nice detail to them. Very nice. However, since this is a Strike Gundam, well, a Strike Freedom Gundam, you know what that means. It attaches into the skirting armor. And we all know how strong those connections are. So to actually attach this guy, he has these... Why am I calling a literal blade of energy he? It's a thing. Not only a thing, it's a model of a thing. So it has these little grooves. And you can just attach them in. Bam. There we go. And it fell. It's... Either use sticky tack or just don't have these in at all, or glue do a little bit of glue to make them stronger. I tend to never put these things in anyway. I mean, who's gonna notice? This is the long beam saber. Instead of like being consistent with every other, double beam saber within the Seed Freedom line, you just have this one uber connected long one that's supposed to be these two put together. Also, yes, the beam sabers are compatible. Look at that. Here you go, chunkin' double-bladed beam saber. Now, normally you would take the cover off the hand to do a hand sandwich, but I'm too lazy to do that. So instead, I'm just gonna take a little bar piece off and then just stick it in like that. Then you could just swap the hands and you are suddenly Darth Maul. And honestly, this blade is way too big, interferes too much with the already big wing pack for you to really use this. I mean, it's a cool thing. I like it. I like it in concept. Everyone who I know loves Darth Maul. However, come on guys, you don't need to have this many figures with a double-bladed lightsaber. Sorry, beam saber. I mean, these things are utterly gigantic, and it's difficult to pose them with. I mean, you can try, but it also has the same round peg in a square hole problem. It doesn't stay in, which is really unfortunate. And actually, before I move on to the last couple weapons, I want to remove the head. You see, this guy has a really unique feature and a really cool detail. As you can see, he has this little split in the red on his V-fin. And that's because it's a little bit janky to take off, but you can take off the V-fin. Oh no, where did that go? Oh, there it is. Oh no. And you have a replacement V-fin with some sticker detail. This is a cannon, another beam cannon on the head. It's called, let me grab the instructions here, the Convergent Heavy Nucleon Beam Cannon, quotes, Disruptor. It's just a beam cannon in the head on top of the other already existing Vulcans on the head. except it's in the V-fin, which is for communication, so why is there a high-energy weapon on this? Seed logic. Oh, and also, like the other Strike Freedoms, the Mighty Strike has the skirt cannons. I actually really love these things. Normally I find them a bit finicky, but this time they fold up just right, and they're just ridiculous enough to still be cool. And since its wings doesn't have cannons in them anymore, it's not like super fiddly to mess around and have these out with those out, and you know, it happens with the other Strike Freedomies, and it just usually is annoying to deal with them, but I like them here. I think they look good here, I think they function here really well, and it's just a fun and goofy feature in our Real Robot Super Drama Show movie. See, even Kira Yamato gets it. Alright, I know what you've all been waiting for. The epic, the awesome beam shield. To plug that in, you just take off this red bit. This one I actually have on with sticky tack a little bit too more because that one always fell off every 5 seconds. This one's perfectly fine though. I don't know why they're so different, even if it's the same mold, on the same part, on the same batch of the same figure. That works perfectly. And honestly, I love beam shields on my Gundams. Even though I do love physical shields more, the thinness of these beam shields just can't be matched. They allow for more articulation because they have more room and clearance, compared to something like this Infinite Justice with its chonkin shield. Like, that's great for protection. It's also kind of a pain for articulation, and you better hope those joints are holding up with all this weight. Also, beam gun with an egregious amount of stickers. Oh my goodness. And there's 2 of them. But don't worry. That flips forward, that flips out on the back there, and then you stick the gun into the hole. And now you have an even bigger gun with a stinky little stock. Behold, the big gun. It's a hyper impulse gun. Nope, that's the torso. What is this thing called? The high energy beam rifle. Well, of course it's a beam rifle. They all have beam rifles. Honestly, it really does just look like 2 guns stacked on top of each other, and I kinda love it. It's hilariously overdone, and it's just perfect. Now, if only you had like 4 of these or whatever, and then you could just keep going, and it's just like a railroad of rifles. Oh my gosh, that would be perfect. Okay, enough dilly-dallying. Let's take out his big old samurai sword known as the this Futushon no Mitama. Futsun no Mitama? Futosu Mitama? I don't speak Japanese, guys. I'm American. Can I talk extra American for a minute? I don't speak no Japanese. But I do speak giant robot, and that looks awesome. The katana actually has double texture. So as you can see, this is like a matte finish, and the other half is shiny, which honestly really gives me vibes of Demon Slayer, where they do kind of a similar thing, except with paint, so it's actually less impressive. Obviously, the mega particle cannon inside of his chest is cool, and I wish we got an effect part for it. I know there's not enough of a hole to like plug it in, but I guess you could just attach this with sticky tack to a stand, but that doesn't look impressive enough. I'm sorry. And then the wings have stickers. It's not as bad as the Rising Freedom, but it's still pretty annoying. So, you have these shiny reflective stickers, which look really good. I just wish that the mechanism, which is really cool, was a little more consistent with how long it stayed out. I wish they had like a locking thing where you move it out and then move it to the side to lock it in. But instead you have this, which can get stuck at random points and then can accidentally get pushed in when you don't want it to. But overall, showing these, all the little light lines showing up is just really satisfying to pull off and see. Especially because it's such a nice color. This shiny hot pink. And yes, that is me struggling. And same on the back side. There we go. I did panel line these and these, but I didn't panel line the interior because I am lazy. But, I mean, it just adds such extra presence to the Mighty Strike Freedom Gundam. I also must say that I really like how, after cutting this, it fits in perfectly with these ball joints. Normally I have to add some sticky tack or thicken up the ball joints because they get too loose after you cut them, so they have individually moving skirting armor. But this time, they're perfect. Honestly, I have no idea why they didn't just individually, or have them be individual instead of you having to snip them together. Otherwise, this is the best Strike Freedom, in my personal opinion. At least at high grade scale. I mean, compared to the high grade Strike Freedom, I don't have the high grade Strike. I don't have the high grade Strike Freedom because I just don't like the overuse of gold and the blue. It just didn't work for me. But this guy's shield needs sticky tack to hold on, otherwise it always falls off. But the Mighty Strike Freedom is just the Strike Freedom, but completely redone, awesome, and with a better color scheme. I think the white works way better than the blue wings. Though I do really wish that, either they got rid of the black and made it all white, which might have made it too similar to the other Black and White Rura, was it? I don't know. The big bad guy at the end who Wedding Smasher smashes. Not in that way, in the kids' playground way. I'm gonna smash you! Yeah, that kind of way. Rip off X-Wing? Immortal Justice? I think this is the Immortal Justice. Otherwise, either that or the Infinite Justice? Infinite or Immortal? I don't know! Definitely not a Spartan from Halo. Rising Freedom. I have to say something. Why can the Immortal Justice have his brand new wings move in so nicely and all the way down and have a nice silhouette? But the Rising Freedom, which came out beforehand and it also has completely new parts, can't move them all the way in, and they're kind of just out like this. What happened here? Same movie, same line. How did this guy have a wonky head but have a better backpack? How did this guy have a better overall body as far as solidness, and yet have the wonkier backpack? I don't know. Plus, they actually strengthened the backpack connector, so unlike the others, he's not gonna be falling off. You know what? Dom. Actually, this guy's pretty tall. Final comparison is to Asuka's mom, and I just want to mention that because this guy, give or take taxes, is about $30, even if you include shipping, maybe a little bit more than that if you just get him in that shipment. This is also $30, not including shipping. Well, if you ordered it like I did directly from Yellow Park, yeah, $30. As a pre-order, $30. Same-ish, nope, this guy's heavier. Same-ish price, but this guy's a lot taller, a lot bulkier, and a lot heavier. I still think this guy, minus the head, is a lot better to build at a lot higher quality. But as far as model kit's concerned, if Yellow Park fixes their joint issues a little bit more, I think they're going to be a really good model kit contender, even though these are more like Lego Bionicle than a Gundam. Overall, while not my favorite to pose due to the head, this guy is a really strong high grade. I wish that a lot more high grades were up to the same quality as this one. The Mighty Strike Freedom has an awesome design, an awesome build, and a simple yet understandable construction. Well, I mean, simple and understandable, kind of the same thing, but you know what I mean. It has some complication, but it's not overly complicated, and it feels just right. It didn't take me too long to put them together. It does have issues, but I think those issues stem more from oversight, like with the neck, or problems with the actual mobile suit's design itself, which aren't really issues. I know that some people were complaining about the placement of the particle cannon, but honestly, it looks better this way. I don't plan on getting the Strike Freedom unless I get the P Bandai version, which has all the effect parts. Other than that, I'm just gonna stick with this guy and add the Strike Freedoms, or the Freedoms backpack onto him because it's completely compatible. And it just looks better. It's basically a 2.0 HG. It's almost a revive, essentially speaking. And that is awesome. Bandai did it. Sunrise did it. The designer for this mobile suit did it. They had a great, really nice proportioned version of the Strike. And I think the model kit designer perfectly encapsulated what it looked like from what I've seen of like trailer footage in like the movie or leaked scenes of this guy kicking butt. He did a really good job. Shout out to the Destiny Type 2. Anyway, this thing is awesome. I love it. I really don't like any of the character art, not the character art, the like line art for any of the mobile suits in Seed Freedom. If you look at those heads look janky. The 3D models look good, but the line art looks bad, which is weird. But the model kits make the line art look even worse because the model kits look awesome. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye!
Bruh, I'm gonna slice you in half, 'cause I'm Kira Jesus Yamato. Oh no, the Horny's killing me. Oh no, why am I in a series called Seed?
Also, you can put a stand up the mobile suit's butt. Clearly, this is how Locus Klein felt.